Hi there EJC, I hope this finds you all well. If there's anyone who in relatively modern times knows a thing or two about physical and social isolation, it's Natan Sharansky. Many of you may have seen a video that's been circulating this week that he put out, in which Sharansky, who spent over 400 days by himself locked up in jail, shares with us 5 tips that he believes will help each and every one of us get through the current situation as we are going through it. And in these tips he says that we need to remember that we're part of a global battle. The number 2, we have to make plans around that which is within our control. Number 3, never to lose our sense of humor. And number 4, to always retain our hobbies, to keep up our hobbies. Would we be in shul tomorrow, we'd be reading Parashat Vayikra, the very first parasha of Sefer Vayikra, the book known as Vayikra. And the book, this book, which we call Vayikra in Hebrew, is known in English or in Latin as Leviticus, a play on the nickname given to Sefer Vayikra by the Talmud of Torat Kohanim, the book of the Kohanim. And it became known as Torat Kohanim, as the book of the Kohanim, because in it the central theme and the central focus is that on the Kohanim and the sacrifices which they would bring. Before the Jewish people became established in the land of Israel, there was this notion of a bama. There was a notion that individuals could bring a sacrifice anywhere at any time they wanted to do. But once the nation became settled, once the conquest was finished, and Jerusalem was established as the central capital of the land, with the Mishkan, the tabernacle, and eventually the Mikdash, the temple, established there at its center, only in the Mikdash itself were sacrifices to be brought. Ever since that point in time, Jerusalem has been a central focus for us. We've been through thousands of years of exile. We've had multiple exiles all across the world, but Jerusalem has always been that focal point. Jerusalem has always been the place to which we all look, in the same way as we will at the end of Seder night in just a couple of weeks' time, when we say B'Shana Haba B'Yerushalayim Habnuya, when at the very end of the Seder, despite having a night declaring our freedom, we realize that the ultimate freedom will only come B'Shana Haba B'Yerushalayim Habnuya, when that in the coming year, when Jerusalem is reunified and rebuilt, and we're all able to gather there. Sharansky's 5th tip was very much along this line. In it he says that it's very important that we feel a connection, that we remember that we're not alone, that throughout our history we may have been a scattered people, but that we have always had the feeling that we're part of a big people, a great people, that we share a mutual past, a mutual future, and a mutual mission. Everything that we're doing at the moment in EJC is about focusing on this 5th tip. Somebody asked me just a couple of days ago, how's the Elstamic Jewish community doing? And I had to pause for a moment because I thought the very notion of community is under threat. The very notion of what a community is unable to manifest itself in the way that we normally would like to. But then it occurred to me that in the same way as the focus of Sefer Vayikra is the Mikdash, and our focus as a Jewish people who has always been towards the Mikdash, towards the temple, towards Jerusalem, it's the very same Talmud that named Sefer Vayikra Torat Kohanim, who also named our shuls a Mikdash Me'at, a mini Mikdash, a mini temple. And if Jerusalem is the focal point for the Jewish people, with the temple at its center, then the community is the focal point for all its members and for all the people that make it up, with the shul at its center. And it could be that in the same way as that for too long we haven't had a temple, and for too long we weren't able to bring sacrifices and engage in the service of God in the way that we normally would have liked to, because Jerusalem hasn't been able to manifest itself in its ideal way. But Jerusalem never faltered and never stopped being that focal point. So too for us as a community, for the Elstamic Jewish community, we may not have our Mikdash Me'at, we may not have our mini shul, our mini temple, we may not have our shul, we may not be able to congregate in the way that we ordinarily do, but we still very much are a community. the community is still very much a focus for us, and that notion of a community and the ability to build on and to continue to build our community is still very much a central focal point for us and for everybody involved. And it's with this in mind, I thank all of you that came to the various shurim we had this week. I encourage all of you to participate in the 2 shurim we have on Monday and Wednesday evenings this coming week, as well as contributing towards the Haggadah that we're putting together, and keeping your eyes and ears peeled for an exciting second or third, possibly even, seder that we have planned, where we all be able to get together, intergenerational and cross-communal, and share in that central and core practice together of the seder. I wish you all Shabbat Shalom, stay safe, stay healthy, and I look forward to seeing you all soon.